Bodhi meditation blankets.
传修台是金菩提宗师为
Meditation
来到菩提
blankets are
禅堂的学员们
meticulously
精心设计
designed
的。
by Grandmaster
无
JinBodhi
论是
for
禅
all
坐、
Bodhi
居家
meditation，
均可以
practitioners.
作为御寒
You
之
may
用，
wear it
特别是
during your
练功打
meditation
坐
or
时
at，home
身体
just
容
to
易
keep
着
yourself
凉，
warm,
尤其
especially
腰
during sitting
和脖子
meditation.
特别
The
容易
body
受
can
风，
easily
而
be
禅
chilled.
毯
The neck
能
and
够保
lower
护
back
身体
easily
不受
catch
到风
cold.
邪。
These
每条
blankets
毯
can
子都
protect
绣
us
上
from
了金菩
evil
提宗师
chills.
所写
Each
的禅
blanket
字，
is
也
embroidered
加持
with
护佑
the
了使用者
character
的身心
chant,
舒适
which was
与
written
平
by
安。
Grandmaster
金菩
JinBodhi.
提宗
It
师
blesses
在
and
毯
protects
子
the
设计之
users
中，
with
特别加
comfort
了两
and
条带
peace
子，
in body
带
and
子在
mind.
前面绑住，不
Grandmaster
会脱
JinBodhi
落。而
specially
贴心设计
added
的
two
长度
straps to
可
the
以连
design
腿
to
和臀
tie
部
in
都
the
挡住，
front
避
for the
免受风。
prevention of
也可以
slippage.
对折后
The
拿
length
来
is
铺着
also
做大礼
carefully
拜。
designed to
将
protect
禅
the
毯
lower
装在
back
一样
body
是
from
超细
getting
摇粒
chilled.
绒材质
Fold
的
it in
套
half
子
for
里收纳，
prostration use.
不但可以
Tuck the
当枕
blanket
头、
in the fine
靠
fleece
垫、
cover
坐
and
垫、
use as a
抱
pillow,
枕，既
backrest,
舒适
cushion,
又保
or
暖。
body
有
pillow.
了金菩
Keeps
提
you
宗师的加
comfortable
持，
and
一
warm.
定能
With
感受到
Grandmaster
特别的
JinBodhi's
护佑
blessing
与温暖。
infused in it, users will surely feel his protection and warmth.
YouTube 订阅教学，教您如何
How
订阅
to
金菩提
subscribe
宗
to
师
Grandmaster
YouTube 频道。
JinBodhi's YouTube
订
channel.
阅金菩提宗师 YouTube 能及时收到影片
If you
发布
subscribe,
及直
you
播通
will
知。
receive the
一起来学习怎
notification
么操作吧。
of
第一
those
步，
live feeds.
下载 YouTube
So how to
应
do
用，
it? How to
点开
subscribe?
Play 商
First,
店。
download
苹果
YouTube
手
app.
机则
You
是
go
点开
to
App Store，
App Store on Apple phone, or you go
搜寻
to
YouTube
Play Store, and then you search YouTube,
点击安装。
install.
第二步，
Now the
注
second
册
step
YouTube 账号，
is to register
进
a
入
YouTube
应
account.
用，
Enter the YouTube app.
建立账户，
Now register an
建立个人
account,
账
your
户。
personal account.
输入姓名，
Enter
出生
your
年月
name,
日，
your birthday, your
自
gender,
行
and
建立
continue.
Gmail 地址，
And now you need
输
to
入地址名称，
sign up a Gmail account. You
输
put
入
your
并确认
Gmail
您的密
address
码，
there, and then enter
按下
and
继续。
confirm your password. Then
输入
continue.
电话号码，
Put your phone number there.
收到含有验证码的简讯
After you
后，
receive the
使
verification
用该
code,
验证码
use the
印证您的手机
verification
号
code
码，
to
按下
verify
继续。
and continue.
账号注册成功。
Now
第三
it's
步，
done.
订
The
阅
third
金菩提
step
宗师频道，
is
进
to
入
subscribe to
YouTube
Grandmaster
应用，
JinBodhi's YouTube
在
channel.
搜寻打
Go
出
to
金
YouTube
菩
app,
提宗师，
search Grandmaster
选取
JinBodhi.
正确的频道。
Choose this
进入
right
频道后
channel.
可以看到
Once you're
宗师
there
各种
at the
精彩的
right
开始
channel, you'll
与
see
直播记
all
录。
Grandmaster JinBodhi's live feed records and all his wonderful teachings.
记得在频道按下订阅，
Remember to click
并开小
subscribe
铃铛，
and turn on
接
all
受各种通
notifications
知。
to receive notifications of all
快速
kinds.
看到喜
So
欢
the
的
fourth
开始
step
内
is to
容，
quickly see what your favorable part of the
点击
teaching
倒
is.
三角形符
Come to
号，
the YouTube video and click on that
滑动预览，
that triangle and scroll
点击时
down.
间点即
You'll
可。
see the time codes. And
如果喜欢这些影片，
if you click on the time code, you'll see your favorite part.
请
If
点
you
赞。
like the video, please like
留
them
言，
and comment.
分享给亲朋好友，
Share with your friends and family.
教会您身边的亲朋好友，
Teach your
牵
friends
起他
and
与宗师的缘
family
分，
to subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube
功德
channel
无量。
and help him to establish this connection with Grandmaster. Will bring you countless benefits. Hello, my dear friends. Hello, everyone. So today we'll continue our choices series. So this is part 5. Remember this? This is part 5. This is a choice for relationship. Talking about love relationship. Everyone will have your own, emotions or maybe some experiences. First, I'll sing a song for you. In this mundane world, there are always people infatuated with love. Don't laugh at them. Don't think that they're crazy. If they haven't experienced the extreme cold, how can you ever smell the beautiful fragrance of plum flower? Maybe you ask, what is love anyways? Well, with love, sometimes you would even die for it. There's so many love stories in the world. One of the most touching story is the 3 variations of plum blossom. In the ancient times, about 3,000 years ago, there are already philosophers and poets. They've said those pretty girls, gentlemen would look for them. And, when people get to a certain age, both men and women, they are searching for their love, and eventually they get married and have children and form a family. And so this is like a necessity. It's like a necessary step and stage of everyone's life. When we are talking about these, actually Joyce has lots of words in your mind, right? You have lots of sighs and lots of words hidden in your heart, right? I'd really love to hear what you will have to say. And so Joyce said, well, there are so many love stories in so there's the love story of the cowboy and the 织女 lady. And so this cowboy Niu Lang is a very honest person. And if he's really honest, how can he find, a wife? And so Joy said, because his his parents all both passed away, and so he lived with his brother and sister-in-law, and his brother and sister-in-law only occupied the whole house and only give him a cow, and so that became his only asset, and so he treated the cow really nicely. But they didn't never know that this cow is actually, it is a star, the one of the stars coming to the earth and turn into a cow. And so he told the cowboy, he said, one day there will be 7 goddess will coming to a river, and they will take a bath there, so you can hide there. And when those goddesses, they will put their dress on the branches, and so you can hide one of the pink dresses there, and then that lady will marry you. Usually people won't believe, right? But this cowboy, he trusted what the cow said. said? Well, and Joyce said, oh, if I hear a cow say that to me, I will be frightened. I will be shocked. and so but this cowboy trusted him. He went to watch the girls taking the bath. Oh, okay. Well, Joyce said, okay, let's skip that part. And so she followed the instruction. Well, the cowboy, stolen the pink dress, and those fairies, they suddenly noticed that somebody was there watching, but the youngest goddess couldn't find the dress and she couldn't go. And then this cowboy said, well, this is a destined marriage. You don't have your dress, so you have to marry me. I'm actually, well, Grandmaster said, yeah, the cowboy, where was he, and where was the lady? But anyways, he's kind of, it's not like he's forcing the girl to marry him. Yeah, so Grandmaster said, if he had listened to my teachings, he won't do that. Well, if the man always stole their clothes, the girl's clothes, and forced the girl to marry them, that's not very good. Yeah, but this cowboy, he's very obedient or very honest and listened to the cow, and so he eventually, so Grandmaster's joking and said, well, one of the best way to find a wife might be you just walk along the river all the time, and maybe there will be a girl taking a bath here, and then you just hide his clothes, and then you get a wife. Well, okay, now let's talk about a love story, Romeo and Juliet. But that's a little bit tragic. They haven't get together. It's just because they don't have cell phones. They wanted to send a message, but the messenger didn't send the message, and so they misunderstood, and then they finally both died. Well, Grandmaster said we didn't hear the story, but Joy said, no, let's skip that story. Let's talk about Titanic. Well, that's another tragic, but the beauty is also lies in those tragic. Well, so Joy said, well, let's not talk about tragic stories, and let's talk about a very sweet story. So it's a young man in the United States. If you have grown up in the United States, little kids will be educated about compassion, and before Christmas, in a school, they're talking about, see, everyone here is getting the Christmas present. Let's think about the kids far away on Christmas. What if they cannot get a Christmas present? And so this boy found a shoebox, and he found some really nice presents and put them in the shoebox, and he left his photo there, and he also wrote a nice card and put into the shoebox. And so his shoebox was sent to Philippines, and a little girl received that box, that shoebox, the Christmas present. And then after a dozen years, everybody now is using cell phones and Facebook now. And so this little boy becomes a young man. And on his Facebook, there's always someone requesting to become his friend, because he didn't know that person, and he didn't want to add that girl to be the friend, but that girl insisted in requesting to be a friend. And so eventually he agreed and added her to become the friend, and so they started chatting on Facebook. And so the Philippine girl said, why I come to find you and request to be your friend is because your shoebox, I'm the receiver. I'm very grateful, and I'd like to establish this relationship. And And so they started chatting, and then they both started to fall in love. And yeah. And then the young man thought that this girl is pretty nice, and so he saved some money for the travel expenses, and so he came to Philippines to meet the girl in the airport. And they immediately fall in love, and they really are love so much to each other. And then eventually they get married, and the girl moved to the United States, and they love each other. They formed a family, they had children, and they lived a beautiful life. Happily ever after. So this is a very beautiful, sweet love story. So it's a story about a shoebox, but it's also about, doing some charity, and the good heart and good deed brings about a good result. And especially in a lot of developed countries, almost everyone like to into others. So this is very good, Master said. And so now let's talk about choices, because this is a choices series. And today, everything that we're talking about relates to choices. Before, we talked about what should we eat for lunch. So this is a choice. And some people say, we're not going to the restaurant, but I'm going to cook. But what are you going to cook? So this is a choice too. What colored clothes you're going to wear? In the South, it's very hot. Maybe you wear t-shirt. What color would you choose? Maybe you have 3 blue t-shirts, and which pattern would you like? And so you need to make lots of choices. And especially when we talk about love, talk about relationship, from the beginning, you choose your lover, how to make the choice. Let me suppose, because we have lots of online friends who are ladies, females. We have fewer male online friends. Well, don't feel bad, my male online friends, because you're fewer, so you're even more precious. So we have many female online friends. And so let's suppose they need to find a man. Say, for example, there are 3 different young men. The first kind is good looking. Yeah. Attractive looks, but have no money. But the second kind is unattractive but strong in abilities. Say, for example, they're very good in studies. Maybe they will also be very good in working. Maybe they have a master's degree or doctor's degree. In the future, they can be an engineer or architecture, or maybe a government official, or maybe a doctor. So they can be the middle class, or even become even the higher classes, because they're very knowledgeable, they're very strong in abilities. They're not attractive. It doesn't mean that they are it's not that they're ugly, it's just that not that attractive. And think about, you're young and he's also young. Young people, the advantage is that they still have a long way to go in their life, but right now this young man doesn't have too much money. The third kind is very rich, maybe a little older, but maybe not, because younger people, but their parents have lots of money. And maybe one day his parents' money will all give to him. And so maybe one day you'll be able to share that asset. And maybe the father already passed away, so you already has taken over all the money. So maybe that man is older or maybe just as young as you. So generally, don't be angry, wealthy people. Usually with more money, you have more opportunities to do something. But if you always walk around the river, your shoes might be wet. So some wealthy people, they might have some bad habits, like smoking or alcoholic, but it's just some. I also know a lot of wealthy people who are even more virtuous. They're wealthy, they have good career, they have good family, and they are really kind and virtuous, integrated. And so the third kind is rich, maybe a little bit frivolous. So, ladies, would you choose the first kind or the second kind or the third kind? So first kind is attractive, but no money. The second kind is unattractive, but strong in abilities and rich in knowledge. The third kind is very rich, but so Joy said she would choose the second kind. She doesn't care about the appearance, but ability is more important. So Joyce is very practical,
长寿的。
Oh, Wu-Zi, you're here too. If you choose, she wants to choose the second kind. You both choose practical. Yeah. So this is. Joy said. They have a question. Our online friends, they have a question. Should we logically choose or we just, intuitively choose? Well. Grandmaster said, well, I don't care. It's your choice. And Fai said, when she was young, she would choose number 1. Now, you can't choose, they say. Well, if you can choose, what kind are you going to choose? Which kind? Now she's going to choose the second kind. So, strong in abilities. See? Also very practical. But when she's younger, she would choose good appearance. Well, that's not a mistake. Everybody likes good appearance. Even if you go buy apples, you like good appearance. Well, that lady wants a rich person. When you were young or now? Oh, now. Very practical. Okay. Yeah. Get the money first. What about the brothers and sisters here? The first one. Oh, you choose number 1. You like good appearance. Okay. You like the second. Oh, you like number 2. Okay. You like number 2. And the fifth one like 2. And next one, number 2. And next one. Oh, number 1. What has it? Oh, okay. Okay. He likes a good appearance. Oh, you like number 3. You like money. What? You choose 1, 2, 3. You like all of them. Okay, the next one likes number 1. Okay, it's just about that. See, everybody has different choices. So let's discuss about it. Let's see our online friends. What would they choose? You see, everybody is very active. I think most people like number 2. Those are like people with potentials, potential stocks. Right now, they don't have money, but they have potentials. So there are only 3 kinds of, factors that you would consider. The first is, let's say the first is money. The second you might consider is knowledge, abilities. So this person himself is like, or have wisdom. And the third kind is appearance. So talent, wealth, and looks. So for our young people, why should we start from here? It's because young people, they are young, but what your lack of is your experience. Some young boys or girls, they haven't even had interactions, relationship with another man or woman. And so when somebody showed love to them, a lot of young men and women would get very, shy and uneasy. They don't know what to do. And they are not sure whether this is a good person or not good person. Are they frivolous or is that the right person for me? But when this person show love, if they're not very, terrible looking, and especially when they make up, use some makeup. Some people, they are not very attractive, but they are very nice. And some young men, they can already drive cars. So after you finish school, then they will drive a car to pick you up, and then they will give you roses, they will give you presents, and other girls won't have this. And so this girl who receive all of these will feel, really good, and they would agree to date with this man. So it's very likely that this will happen. Sometimes you didn't think about, you won't have time even to think over whether, are you keen on his money or his appearance or his abilities? And especially a lot of actions that he did that makes you feel comfortable. He's kind to you, and but he didn't do anything overly, and he would even protect you. And when you need to do something hard, he would help you. And if you even just mention something, he would buy it for you. And when you're talking about a movie, and you like to watch that movie, and then the next day he would bring you to the cinema to watch that. And if you talk about you like this milk tea, and then he would buy that milk tea for you, and especially in front of all your classmates. And he's very handsome and wearing nice suit, and so the whole thing makes you feel so joyful, and so, and whether this person is a good person or not, you actually don't know. Most likely, you just agree and you fall in love with him. And so, when love arrives, is there a way for us to logically make choices? Let's put fate aside. Let's just talk about our logic and our wisdom. We have so many uncles and aunts, they've already had these experiences. Maybe we could share these experiences and have some discussions. So all the young people, when you still have an opportunity to find a partner, then you can make good choices to avoid, let's try to avoid any, bad choices, and so that we can have wise eyes to see through the situation, and also to see that whether this man would be able to help establish a good family. And Joy said, it would be really nice if I had heard these teachings before I got married. Well, Grandmaster said, I haven't started teaching it yet. Well, maybe I'm not very experienced. You're more experienced than me. But anyways, let's try our best to offer some experiences to our young friends. Good appearance is not wrong. You're born with a good appearance, right? Do you think that this is also they're born with the beauty. And it's like a bonus that because everybody would like that. I remember in Journey to the West, they were describing Monk Tong. Everybody would love him. Every monster would even love him. Those lady monsters loves him. And so he must have a very handsome, he must be very handsome looking, and he's also very, very attractive. And so those lady monsters, when he doesn't agree to marry them, they would eat him. So because he's just so attractive. Young people like Liu Dehua. Yeah. So a lot of girls would have their pictures in their wallets, and so they there are so many people had dreamed of marrying him. Andy Liu, he's very famous, and he also has a good-looking appearance, and he's very wealthy, and he's famous. And so one day a girl asked me, "Do you think that I can marry Andy Liu?" I was thinking, what? Oh, how long have you been dating? Well, she said, I have already loved him for 2 years, but I've never told him. Have you ever had a meal with him? He said, no, never. Yeah, well, so, and children fat. Yeah. So it's only the girl who is in love with Andy Liu, but Andy Liu never heard about her. So for those celebrities, actors, actresses, when everybody knows them, then the movie will be easy to market. So in the movie, they usually will act a very good person. Well, actually, in Titanic, the main character is actually, usually ladies would like those men who is very understanding and also romantic and even humorous. And so a lot of times these actors will be even more famous than the actress. And so when he's acting as that main character, who is that actor? Leonardo. Who's the actor for the main character in Titanic? And he also cares a lot about environment protection, and he even went to the South Pole and even talked to the Secretary of the United Nations and do a lot of job to protect the environment. But anyways, let's come back to, the main character in a movie. These days, when we're talking about the details in relationships, I remember we thought that Joyce is a very serious person, but actually she's very romantic. And Joyce said, "Oh, no, I am very serious." Of course, everybody would like those attractive and handsome men. And of course, they would... they would choose an actor who is handsome, right? So appearance, it is. I don't know if it is because of your fortune or merit or virtue. It is an advantage, at least, if you have good appearance. We talked about Andy Liu. There's so many people loving him. Let's put people who secretly love him aside. Just talk about people who loves him. him. Those who are fortunate to marry him. Even if you get married to him, there are still so many people loving him and wanting to write love letters to him. And so if you're the wife, would you feel, afraid? Well, I would say Andy Liu's wife in her previous life must be a meditation practitioner, probably Buddha Dharma. So every day, she needs to be very peaceful and have that composure, that fortitude to become his wife. Usually, in a marriage, you feel like you're my only love and I'm your only love, right? But now they're like a huge crowd who loves him, and Andy Liu is not old. I don't know how he he seems to grow every year, but he still looks young. Yeah, so from 8 years old to like 38 years old, everyone probably loves him. And so anyone who, Andy Liu's wife, you really need to be Buddha Dharma, maybe, yeah. Otherwise, how can you handle that? So, if you want to find a very handsome man, when you see him, of course, you feel good, but then you found everybody likes to see him, everybody loves him, everybody wants to have him. There's so many people who secretly love these film stars. Even in our online friends, there are so many would really love Chow Yun-fat, and Guo Fucheng, and Jin Chengwu, and Andy Liu, and yeah. And Aaron Kwok. Well, at least you would feel, it's good looking. But according to Christine, she said, as long as you're pretty, then everything is right. So good looking is the only rule. But, so Joy said, Christine really has a good looking. So that's why, she can talk about good looking, but I don't have the confidence. I don't have a good looking. Then I just don't have the, So that's why I like people who don't have good looking appearance, but at least have good abilities. So Grandmaster said, then you hope that, so this kind of person will never love anybody else, some other people. And so what happened? And the result was that, he still loves somebody else. And so Joy said, he didn't have a good appearance, but he has very strong ability. And that's his advantage. And so he loved somebody else. And so, well, Master said, I'll tell you good news. According to how much wealth he accumulated, now people call the number 3. So the third person, when you have $3, you have 3 lovers. And when you have $10, maybe you have 5 lovers. And when you have $20, you have 8 lovers. So, so it depends on how much money he has. Even if he's not good looking, as long as he has strong abilities, there are still a lot of people who would appreciate his ability and love him. So I said, that's why I tell a lot of people, you should build your confidence. If you just study hard and work hard in the future, you definitely find your lover. Your ability will create charm and will be very productive. Good looking, even though he cannot produce something, he cannot do something, but when you look at him, you might feel comfortable. It's just a visual satisfaction. And that's according to Joy's verse. You mean the So that's right. It's comfortable when you look at him, and also when other people look at him, they also feel comfortable. They also, that also satisfies their vision. And a lot of girls sometimes, because they love him, they don't care if he already has a family, and they would still bravely tell him the love. And so having a very good-looking husband sometimes is risky. So Joyce said, I want to tell a story in when I was younger. So the girl and the boy, they are already lovers, and the young man is already starting some success in the career. And the third person, the girl, doesn't mind whether they are already lovers. So the other girl also, so she's the number 3. Yeah, so she said, she does business too. Well, even though a contract already signed, I can still grab that business back. So she said, even though you are already lovers, but she's still determined to get the boy. And some ladies, maybe they were robbers in their previous life. And so when they love this man, they would just grab that man, and she doesn't care about whether it will hurt the other person. And so she would just do everything she can, because he's very handsome. As the wife, of course, you won't agree, and then you might fight furiously. And so there are some men and women are probably robbers in their previous life. Those celebrities, their wife or husband, you do need some fortitude. And those husbands, if they are very attractive, maybe there will be another girl who will try to grab him, because it's not like not everybody would care about other people's feelings. And sometimes when they're working, they will show their characteristic. Like sometimes they can tell lies when they're going to an interview. And sometimes when they're trying to find love, as long as they love this person, they just go. They don't care if this person already had a family. And sometimes we even can call it conspiracy. And they even will give them like some alcohol, and so the man is probably drunk, and then when he woke up, then something not supposed to happen already happened. So these are robbers in the love relationships. And not just man, it could be man and woman, and they have different ways of robbing. So when you have some charm or you have some abilities, even you don't have the best look, maybe you're attractive in your other areas, or you're attractive in your appearance, then there will be something happen. So even without good appearance, if you're very strong in your abilities, it could also cause problems. What about the third kind? They're already very rich. He already experienced like lots of experiences. Now, well, Joyce said, I feel that's the riskiest, most dangerous. Joyce said, because he already is very rich. Well, it's probably not nice to say that, but of course he would have more opportunities and say, for example, I'd like to, spend more money, and maybe so he can have the money to do whatever he wants. Some people, when they don't have that much money, maybe they want to do that, but they cannot afford to do it. So wealthy people at any time, they're in their life, because you can't see their heart, but externally in their actions, you can see what they do. Say, for example, in the ancient times in agriculture society, men usually will wear those very long shorts, and so those the cloth hasn't been dyed, and they are also sweating, and a lot of mud and earth, and so their skin is very rough, just like Rodin sculpture, and very dark color. And even Chinese people would have very dark brown color. Especially those farmers. Let's compare, if you are in this kind of clothes, and maybe the only thing that's attractive is your muscle, but your dust, your smelly, because you sweat a lot, and because you are so hungry, and when you're eating, you're like gulping, and so the way you eat, the way you move, the way you walk, and those farmers, sometimes they would even spit on the ground, and so it doesn't look very polite, but maybe a scholar might wear very nice dress, a suit, and maybe very polite, and they will maybe, they will offer you pu'er tea and even add some rose flower and some goji, and and that will nourishing, and it smells good, and oh, the chair is so cold, I'll put a cushion on it. But the farmer would just take it easy. I'm just squatting here, so you can just sit on that stone. So he's not very good at taking care of the details. So that's why in ancient times, those love story, are recorded by those scholars. So that's why even the stories about the ghosts, it's always the lady ghost who will try to attract the scholars. And they never will go to attract a farmer. Once the farmer comes, maybe the ghost will leave. The scholars, they usually will just stay home, and they will make up many different stories. They won't say Mr. Zhang or Mr. Li. And they will say, oh, this lady ghost, Ms. Zhang. But anyways, all these love stories are made up by these scholars. They say, merrily the ospreys cry on the isle in the stream, gentle and graceful is a girl, a fit wife for the gentleman. These are only poems from the scholars. The farmers will never write this. So those people who read a lot of books, they know a lot of manners, and also their even their tones, their appearance, and then so everything is very well designed. But what about the farmers? They never know about these manners and virtues, and they don't know about what's supposed to do. So usually those farmers, they just find a matchmaker, and then he would probably never have seen the wife, and then they already get married, and the next day they say, oh, this is my wife. Such a look. The bad-looking wife. So in the past, sometimes it's like gambling, like so sometimes they will regret. You see, our online friend chose number 2, and Joyce chose number 2. But does number 2 stayed with you? Has it last? A lot of people would think, oh, number 2, maybe he will become a doctor, a dentist, or and because he has more ability to create money, but you would think that this can also help your marriage to last. And Joy said, she had a wrong thought, because she thought, oh, we start from nothing, right? And together they start from nothing, and they worked hard together, and so she imagined that they would never change, and so that the marriage can last, but it didn't. So it's just that she probably thought too well. So in Chinese, it's like, it just eventually end in vain. And eventually she woke up from the dream. And so Joyce want to tell a story about Zhou Wenjing and Sima Xiangru. It's in the Han Dynasty. Zhou Wenjing's father was very rich. Zhou Wenjing is the lady. Okay, so Zhou Wenjing is the lady, and Sima Xiangru is the man. And so Zhou Wenjing's father is very rich. And so the father wants to find, a son-in-law who is also wealthy. And so he wanted her to marry a man who is wealthy. So Wenjing married that man. Only after 1 year, this man was very weak, and so he passed away. And so Wenjing became the widow. So every day she would cry, and when she was playing the musical instruments, she would have tears, and all her it's a kind of, musical instrument. It's not piano, probably. But anyways, so she put all her emotions in the playing. And Sima Xiangru, he is very good at writing, and he learned a lot of knowledge, and but he's not an official. He was not an official, and his friend is the mayor or the director of the county in the county where Zhou Wenjing lives. And so one day this friend comes, and they passed Zhou Wenjing's house, and they hear this music coming from the courtyard, and it's so beautiful. And Sima Xiangru is also very, very good at playing musical instruments. And he thought, wow, this lady is so talented, and he really felt that connection with her and wanted to marry her. And so he asked his friend to be the matchmaker. And Zhou Wenjing's father is very rich, but he thought, oh, Sima Xiangru, I don't know him, but at least he's the friend of the mayor. So he invited Sima Xiangru to come for dinner. And so Sima Xiangru had an opportunity to also play the musical equipment. And so Sima Xiangru played music. It's like the phoenix, the dragon invite the phoenix, and so this is like inviting the love, and so when Zhou Wenjing was listening to the music behind the screen, she heard it and she felt, oh, and so their heart connected. So even now, there are still people are playing this music, and then Sima Xiangru formally, asked someone to invite for this wedding and the marriage, and then Zhou Wenjing's father eventually find out that Sima Xiangru is not wealthy, doesn't have a good family, but the man and the woman, they already fall in love. And Sima Xiangru stutters a little bit too, but Zhou Wenjing really loves his ability. And Sima Xiangru is very good at plays musical so Sima Xiangru stutters, but when he plays musical instrument, he's very fluent and very smooth. Yeah, some people, yeah, that's true.
他俩好上了，可是爸爸不同意呀。就面临了这个爱情和亲情之间的抉择。对，然后呢
，and so they
真是好的够意思。这个司马相如写了一封信，悄悄地送给了周文君，说
The Song of Courtship. It's called The Song of Courtship. And Sima Xiangru wrote a letter to Zhou Wenjing, said, maybe at midnight you can come out and we'll go away.
周文君是个辣妹子。
Well, Zhou Wenjing is from Sichuan province. Actually, she's very courageous. So at midnight, she really took her assets and went away with Sima Xiangru. And they went to Sima Xiangru's hometown. But Sima Xiangru's family is very poor. Well, they don't have money, and they couldn't just play musical instruments. And they are also like entrepreneur. And so they started to do business. So they started a store to sell alcohol, because Zhou Wenjing has some money that she brought with her. And so they rent a store to sell alcohol. And they had really good business, because the couple is very pretty and they are very good at playing musical instruments. So that's why their alcohol is sold very well. And then, so this, or the story, eventually Zhou Wenjing's father heard about this. And because Zhou Wenjing has already married Sima Xiangru, and her father eventually agreed to the marriage. Well, our online friends can also, refer to this story. So Zhou Wenjing's father sent 100 servants and 1 million, I don't know, either it's gold or silver, to them. And so the couple had very wealthy life ever since then. And Sima Xiangru is really very talented. And so the emperor of the Han Dynasty, Wu Emperor, read Sima Xiangru's poem, and he thought, oh, maybe this person already passed away. This is such a talented person. But then his minister said, no, this person's still alive. So the emperor invited him to come to the court, and so Sima Xiangru became the official, and eventually he had a glorious position, and then the father-in-law eventually felt very good, and then Sima Xiangru also was sent as an ambassador to the southwest, and so he was away for many years and worked outside. So he had money, and he's the official, and he's very good at writing. He was very good at playing musical instruments. Of course, he now becomes very attractive now. So there are many ladies in love with him, and Sima Xiangru truly was touched by those girls. So at that time, he didn't want to divorce Zhou Wenjun. In ancient time, it was very normal that they can have a second wife or a third wife, and so he wanted to have another wife, like a concubine. And so Sima Xiangru wrote a poem: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. And then so that actually means that he wants to forget about the previous, all these affections with Zhou Wenjun. And then Zhou Wenjun was also very, strong, and she didn't cry, she didn't, depressed, and she wrote also another poem. It's about, the love that we had before is like the snow on the mountain, and it's like the moon in the sky. After so many years, now you are already an official, you're wealthy, you're having a good life. Now you want a concubine. Now that you have other love, I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to just say goodbye. So she said, my heart, I only want to find a husband who will only love me, and we can get old together till the end of life. If you are not that one, then I will say goodbye to you. And she said, men should really value the love, and money is not the real value. Something like that. And when Sima Xiangru read Zhou Wenjun's poem, so Sima Xiangru was touched by this, and so he didn't get a concubine, and he went back home, and so lived the life with Zhou Wenjun later. And Sima Xiangru actually had diabetes, and Zhou Wenjun actually looked after him until he died. So this is the story of Zhou Wenjun and Sima Xiangru. Well, actually there were very few complete love stories in ancient times, that bring about lots of thoughts. If I summarize your story, at the beginning, when they know each other and love each other, it's like they were very young, and then they fall in love. They have a reason because of the music that attracted both, and they were touched by the music. And Sima Xiangru overcome a lot of difficulties to try to, get the girl. And eventually they determined to leave the family and went away. And when they go to Sima Xiangru's hometown, they didn't kept it as a secret. They were very open to the public, and then they opened a store to sell alcohol. And I believe actually Zhou Wenjun was the main person who actually looked after the store, because Zhou Wenjun was very beautiful and also very good at music and very knowledgeable. So the business was very good, and because yeah, and so and also Sima Xiangru, because of his richer and richer experiences, his knowledge about the country, about history, about all these, that makes his writings even more, attractive, or attract the attention of the emperor. And so when such a man who is very strong, has strong abilities, and also a very good, and when he actually before Zhou Wenjun, there was no other girls chasing him. But when he became the official, when he get wealthy, at that time, in old time, they have a special kind of uniform for those scholars and officials, and that also means authority too. It's like, so he can ride on horses, or even maybe take a special kind of sedan. And so anyone who works for him would even be able to make a living. And so he's like a big tree and have big shades, and everybody wants to come to this shade. So when people have, wealth and authority, like power, then he would become attractive to many people. Zhou Wenjun is very wise. She used her own way to declare her attitude towards this. It's very positive. When she tried to touch him. Family is not like countries. You don't want to get into war. So she used a way positively to touch him, to express her love. And then Sima Xiangru was touched eventually and went back to live and spend the life with her. And also because he also got diabetes, and so they actually lived their life together. Yeah. So this is a very true story. It's not like the cowboy steal the goddess dress.
我们的话题还是在第三种男人，就是有钱有事业的男人，能不能找？我们看我们现场的师姐好几位是选择第三种，对不对？
Well, there are quite a few people also choose the third kind, old in age and rich but frivolous. So for a little older people, if you have a daughter, and if your daughter is 18 or 19 years old, maybe you start to think what kind of man you would like your daughter to choose. You might want her to find someone who has, a good looking, or at least a fair looking, and also maybe has some abilities. Well, Joy said, as parent, we like the children to have a very steady life. We don't want the child to have risky life, and yeah, of course we would like her to marry someone with some money. And so this is very practical. Even not very luxurious life, but at least they have money to spend.
我们在接触的很多，希望我帮着调节的一些。
And well, we encountered some couples who need my help in, you know, mediate their relationship or before they get married. But I don't what caused the breakup. It sometimes is because the girl's family wants too much, maybe want too much money. In some movies, in my childhood, we usually would think that, oh, these families are not good. If you ask money, it's wrong. But once you become a girl's father, you always hope that your child, your daughter, at least will not go hungry, right? At least she can have some, guarantee for a normal life and have a man to look after him, and the man should have the financial ability to support their life. That's what Zhou Wenjun's father thought. Well, Joyce, come back. Don't go to Zhou Wenjun's time. So nowadays, many parents, when you heard about the mother-in-law ask for money, or maybe you should buy a car, you should buy a house. When in China, when I was a teenager, when I was only a few years old, the girl's family usually want a bicycle or maybe a sewing machine or maybe a cupboard or and maybe how many quilt. So these are the necessities that you need to use in your life. Why is that? Because at that time they don't even have these. Say for example, you have 5 sons in the family doesn't have too much money. If you can get this, if the mother of the daughter has if they get this, then at least you know that this girl would have this much to live with, right, in their life. If you don't ask for those, so say for example, the man's family has 5 boys, and this girl wants to marry the eldest boy, and if the girl's family doesn't ask for this, then what if the girl marry him and doesn't have anything in the family? So at least these would guarantee that they have these equipments. If you marry a wealthy person, then maybe they will have a whole house or a big building or something. And in Taiwan, Joyce said in Gaoshan nationality, they would ask for several pigs or something, and they can create some values. Maybe they would also ask for cabinet, or maybe now they're probably ask for a house or a car. Well, would the girl ask for nothing? Probably impossible, huh? If you have a daughter and the girl have a lover, if you say the boy's family, if the father already passed away and the mother is crazy, then the parents of the girl would really worry. How can the girl live in the future? So the girl's family asking for something is very reasonable. The love cannot be measured by money, but what the parents worries is that they want the girl to at least have a basic need for their life. So when we choose wealth, it actually means that we want to have a good life. So in China, when I was a teenager, the girl's family usually will ask for refrigerator or TV set or things like that, electronics. I have already left China for maybe more than 20 years. I don't know what they're asking now. Maybe nowadays the girl's family would ask for a house. That would be very reasonable. Or maybe they just ask for cash. Sometimes, if you only ask for cash, they're afraid that the money will be taken away. But if the house is already under the girl's name, then that's very guaranteed. So a lot of people are very logical. Some ladies here, they say, oh, if I choose now. Fayu, if you choose now, would you choose 2 or 3? Yeah. Oh, you want to choose number 3, the third kind? Yeah, you just go directly to a wealthy person. What would be the convenience of that? Let me be the bad person. I'm just analyzing the situation. If you directly marry a rich person, it's different from marry the second kind of person. The second kind of person, they are very capable, but they don't have money. So they still need time to work hard, and maybe they will make some money. Maybe they will be able to buy a house, but maybe not. So it's just a maybe. Some people, they're very good at studying in school, but they're not good at work. So their degrees does not equal to their abilities in their work. But having some degrees will help them to find a job, that's for sure. But it doesn't equal to a big accomplishment. So if you marry someone who is very charming and maybe very, it seems that they are very capable, but yeah. Even those people who are strong, who have strong abilities, they still need to work hard for a while. But if you marry someone who's wealthy, you directly, like immediately, you get the money, and then you can just count the bills. And so you don't need even to go through the process of working hard. Yeah. So you skip that process. Yeah. And now you directly become the employer. You don't need to follow others' instruction. You can instruct others. And then, so if he has 6 million, maybe you already had 3 million or at least 1 million. Yeah. Of course, you will have more expenditures, and so you have probably live an easier life. But Joy said, I have a question. Can you control or kind of manage this man? Are you able to, would this man, like a playboy? Because he has money, he can have many opportunities. It doesn't mean that he will be like that, but that's my worry. And Grandmaster said, you have reasons in worrying about that.
是吧？你来了就当收租婆，你就不用去那么拼命劳动了。
解决方法就是眼不见为净，就当做没有。 自己也得有这样的定力才行吧。
Maybe the wife needs to have tolerance too, and maybe she just keeps her eyes closed and pretend that nothing happens.
所以有的时候呢，就是你贪一不贪二，是吧？
So
就是我贪的
when you're
是说有
greedy, you
钱
can
花，
only be
你
greedy
别
for
贪
one
它
thing.
那么
If you want
细
the
节都
money,
好像随着
then
就像你定制
don't
了一个
think
机
about
器
the
人一
other
样，
side.
对吧？它是
It's
这
like
个
就像这个手心手背，我接受
It's
了这
like
个
the
手心
two
的白，
sides
我
of
就
the
接受
palm.
这个手背的
If
黑，
对。
都接受了。
就是熊和熊掌，
It's like
不是
the
鱼和熊
Chinese
掌不可
proverb
兼
that you cannot have both
对
the
不对？
fish and
你就
also
不
the
要说我还
bear.
贪了这个还有那个，是吧？你也有这么有钱，还有这么创造力，
You can't
你还
ask
不
for
能
the
让别的
guy
女人喜
to
欢了你
have
之
money
类
to
的，
be
这个
creative
不容
and
易，
not be
不
liked
容
by
易。
other
有的华
ladies.
语说也挺冤
And
枉
that
的，
man
是
might
吧？我长得帅又有钱，
feel
我吸引了
that
别人是我并没有去爱他，可是他爱了我，
I'm
对不对？
attractive
但是你知道是我不
and
用
it's
去
not
爱
my
他，
fault.
你只能说这些名人要自
You
己
have
去做
to
到这样的自觉，对
self-discipline.
不对？所以先不要说这个有钱的人
We
就
can't
都
say
是
that
犯事儿的人，
People
好
who
吧？
are
先不
wealthy
要
are
当案
all
犯来看待
playboys.
啊。
And
还有
don't
呢，就是你别
overthink
想那
it.
么多，哎，
Yes, not only do we not overthink it, but we also need to accept what might come. And also, this person with a lot of money might be bossy, might have a bad temper. And if you
你站
marry
得小
that
白脸儿的
person,
话
you
他
have
确实
to
细皮嫩肉，
be able
总能顺着
to
你说的话，像你们家那个
tolerate
养的
it.
贵宾犬似的，是吧？没事就舔你。
If you
可
just
是
want to
来
marry
钱，
someone
第一
who
个
looks
挣不
cute
来钱
and
也不
who
一定
is
是个
very
好，
gentle, and maybe they
对不
are
对？
and keep
哎，
them
他
as
没能
your
干成什么大事，但是并不
as
代
your
表他
pet.
不犯什么大
They
事，
will love you, but they might not be
对
able
不
to
对？
achieve
你以
anything
为
in
没
their
钱
life.
人就是老实人吗？咱们反回来
And
来追溯一下，对不对？咱们现在
on the
说可以
opposite
大概注
side,
定了，按照觉真女士的理解，有
say
钱人
that
差不多都
if
是色狼，
Jurgen
那
says
没
that
钱人就
all
不是色
wealthy
狼。
persons
还有那
are
个还有
playboys.
又穷又
But
坏的色狼
Is the opposite not true? Are
那你不
poor
是色狼，
people
你去
not
找女朋友
playboys?
干啥了？对不对？那你从这个另外一个角度，那你
So
从一
if
个
you
人
look at it
人有
from
人的
another
人性，
standpoint,
对不对？你都有你的思维方式，有你的那种价值
every
观念，
person have their
对吧？
own values and
对呀，你的
personalities.
那种贪执欲望，难道贪执欲望只有富人才有吗？
Everyone has greed.
穷人有
Not
没有？
only the wealthy
如果
people
没有的
have
话，为
greed.
什么有抢匪抢
Poor
银行，
people
对
have
不对？
greed too.
为什么都
That's
不
why
顾
there
生
are
命危险去抢
people
呢？
robbing the banks, right?
对不对？所以穷人欲望就更大，
Poor people
对，
have
所以
greed
才有
too.
这种
Everyone have
在
their
战争之中，有
desires.
人把它称为
And
叫
that's why
豺
in
狼
war,
之心，还有战狼之心。就是
in
不管
war,
我今
people
天
would
已
say
经
that
变成火，我还有这种狼的这种
there
心，
are people
这种
with a
表
heart
达的
of
意
a
思就是
wolf.
我永远一种就是渴求索取之心的。
That such people
永远得到
always
满足
want
的意思。
more. They're
所以用这
never
个狼来
fulfilled.
描述一个人或
And
一种
that's
具
why
体心的
they
时候，是
use
永不
wolf
满足，
to
代表
describe a person, that their
啊，
wishes
说
are
难
never
道
fulfilled.
这个只有是富人才有这么一个心，难道穷人
So
就没有一个索取之心吗？
Do only wealthy people have such a
而且还
such
有
a
一个问
heart?
题就是像刚才讲到
Do
的一些
do
也是这
poor
样子
people doesn't
可是
have
这个
this
穷人
heart?
等
Doesn't
他
have
变
this
万一
greed?
啊变富了的时候，还不一定变富啊。那有
Jurgen
如果
says
变
that
富的话，
if a
说不定
poor
还会变
person
动
becomes
更严
wealthy
重
one
喽。
day,
这个都有
maybe they
可能。
will do worse than someone who's already
那
wealthy.
说到这儿，那咋办呢？师
Then
傅，
what do we
到
do,
底选啥
Master?
样的
What
人？
do we choose?
这个就看你的一个是叫你自己叫咎由自取哈，按照我们
It
的公安说的话，
really
你咎由自取，
It really depends
就
on
是
后果自负，就是
what
后果自负，就是你
what
自
you
己有的
choose. Then you
有
need
很多
to
的人，
pay
咱们今天
for
说站在女方来
the
说，就
result.
是你自己
Say that
喜
if
欢哪一
you
种
are
男
a
人，
woman,
是你心中的一种感觉，
是
是吧？有的时候
it
我一
comes
看这个
from
电
your
影上看
heart
土匪，
what
我
type
就
of
喜欢说
people you
嘴
love.
里叼个烟，还冒着烟儿，
You
手里
might
一边
like
一个左轮枪，
gangsters
这种
holding
干
guns
掉几个人的
and
这种土匪的
cigarettes.
感觉，这是我要的男人的感觉。
Maybe that
那么也
that's
有
how
人
you
就
feel
喜
a
欢
man
细皮
should
嫩
be.
肉的，走
But
路
some
有屁股
people
的男人，
likes
是吧？
to
说这个稳
but
当，
some people likes
这也不一
men
定
who
稳
are
当，
very
不要那么
gentle,
稳，稳当啥呀？
who are
对吧？
very
就是你
uh,
追求的一种感
soft.
觉，
And
对
that's
吧？
just the
那当
feeling
然，
that
我
you
们
are
在
trying to
听爱情
seek.
故事的时候，就是宁为玉碎不为瓦全，我就和这个穷
You
光
do
蛋
hear some
男
love
人，我
stories
就要和
that
他结婚。
it doesn't matter what, I
因为
just
他
want to
有个
marry
原
such a
因，
man.
就是很多人得父母反对的时候，就是因为他长得好，因为他的这个
Sometimes your
就是
parents
个
might
人的
contradict
行
your
为或者
choices.
长相的魅力，就一个是外貌，第二个
Maybe it's
他
because of
对
their
另外
looks.
这个人啊，那种各方面吧，也叫做，也有人叫做恋爱的手段。
Or
恋爱的
maybe
手
it's
段
because
太过
what they
周全，
show.
对吧？
Some people
女生宁可
are
知
very
道
good
就感
at
觉有点不靠谱，
relationships.
他怎么对我这么好？
Sometimes
我想到
a
他都
lady we might feel that
但是因为
it doesn't
别
feel
忘了
right.
恋爱期间叫做求爱，
But
结了婚为
during
啥开始变
the
了呢？已
relationship,
经求到了，
it's called
就是
courtship,
业务
right?
到手了，是吧？
After
你想
marriage,
吗？
they've
今天我是
already
一只老
won
虎，
your
我
heart.
追一头小羊，对不
Say
对？
that if it's a
那
tiger
你在
chasing
跑
a
的时候我就
lamb,
追呀，他们追着你，把你
the
关
lamb
到我的笼
is
子里的时候，
chasing,
我还用那么
is
追吗？
running
我
away,
就不用追
and
了，
the tiger
所以老实
chases
点儿，
after the
是
lamb.
吧？
But what if
是吧？
after
明跳就
the
把你炖
tiger
了，
succeeds,
先吃后腿儿，后吃
then
前腿
they
儿，
put the
对
lamb
不对？已经
in
开始
a
分割你
cage,
了，
right?
所
And
以他的态度当然
the
是不一
tiger
样
doesn't
的。
need to
这
chase
就是
anymore.
这个捕猎的
And
这个过
so
程，
the
对不对？
tiger will change its
其实
attitude.
这个谈恋爱，这个尤其是有个产生叫追求的过程的时候，也是这个样子。
Relationship is the
我
same,
追求你的时候，我想
especially
得到，别
if
说为了
one
恋爱了，
person is
就
courting
是
you.
大家谈业务，为了签一个重要的合同
It's
的
the
时候，
same in
我都
business
几
too.
乎都要
If
奉承，
you are trying to sign a
马屁，
contract with
是吧？
another
给
company,
好的礼
you will
物
want to
啊，
be
请吃好的
kind to
饭，
that company.
是
You
吧？
might
反
even
正你
treat
想
them
方
to
设法
dinner
能
or
够
give them
取悦
gift.
于你的方
And
法
just to
都
make
会
them
取悦你，
happy,
对，
you will
对不对？都是
do
这样
any
的。
message.
这还是做工作、做业务的过程之
And
中。
that's just
那
doing
么求
business.
爱的这个
But
过
what
程之中，
about
在人类的这一生当
loving
中，是一个
relationships?
非常重要的一个过程。
嗯，
并且这个过程的时候，
This
正是
process
大
of
家
courtship is
身
actually
体
a
刚长
very
成成年人，
important
但是生命的能量是最
period
强、最
in
旺
a
盛的
human's
时候，
life.
但就是没有人生经验的时候。
对呀，
所以这里面还
Usually
带有
when
除了一
we
个
are
生理、
young
心理的需求
adults,
之外，
we are
还
at
有
the
很
peak
多叫
of our
盲动
life
性。
energy, but
对，
we
盲
are the
动性，
most
对
inexperienced
吧？
too.
所以很多
And
青年人
sometimes
不
we
动
are
脑子的时候，
blind.
他只要喜
These
欢我，
young
怎么
adults,
都可以，
sometimes they don't
对
think
吧？当你
anymore.
真正恋
They
爱之
feel
后，会
that
发生这
if
样的，对
this
吧？
person loves me,
但你在
then
恋爱之
nothing
前，
else
你还在想
matters.
这三种男人我喜欢哪一个？
Before you fall
对
in
不对？
love, you can
当你
analyze
想了半
which
天，生怕自己嫁
which
不
of
出去，
these three type
对，
of
突然
men
冒
do
出来
I
一个对你
like.
好的时候，你就有
But
点
when
发懵，
somebody
晕了。
shows up
晕了之
and
后
is
说，本来这
very
个长相是
kind to
我
you
不要
and
的，
loves
这个
you,
对我
you
太好
become
了，
dizzy. You're
比我父母亲对我
confused.
还好啊。
Why
谈
is
恋爱的时
he's
候，你
treating
这
me
个谈恋爱，
so
父母亲是不
nicely,
可代
even
替的，
nicer
对不
than
对？
my
你
parents?
找外面的
Then
配
you
偶，
feel that
他
that
不可能
person
像得到父母
cannot
爱一样，
be
这正
replaced.
是你所需要的一种感觉，对
It's
吧？
a feeling that you've been
对，
seeking.
所以这个时候，
So then at this
你就
time,
真的需要去思考了。
you really
很
need
多
to
点都
slow
需要
down and
思考。
think. Think about
就是
many
说要了
things.
你想要的这个点，但是你同时也要接受可能没有想到的那一些。
任何东西的两面性，
Everything has
都是
two
有的。
sides.
嗯，就是正作用与副作用。
There are positive
所以今天
sides
咱们先
and
说第一
negative
种人
sides.
哈，
对，
Let's
你
talk
这个
about
这
the
个男
first
人长
type
得
of
帅，
person.
腿又高，
So this person is
说话
very
做事还
handsome
可以，
and
对吧？你看
has
着心里
very
就是
good
舒服
looks.
对吧？
哎，
那反过来，
You
男
like
人
looking
看
at
女人
him,
看
right?
美女是怎么都好看。
And it's the same
他
for
连
men
哭都好
looking
看。
looking at
所以《红
women.
楼梦》里就描述了林黛玉哭，
If a
哭
woman
的
is
时候都是
beautiful, she looks
就冒着
even
一股
beautiful
香
when
气
she cries.
对，就是这个东西，当你觉得美的时候，
When you
就觉
feel
得就能
something
征
is
服你了
pretty,
就是
you feel that you
错也是
have
对
been
的。
captured
所
by
以
that
这
beauty.
说回那个周
Thinking back
嗯
to
商周
the ancient times
商朝
in
的
the
时候，
Shang and Zhou
最后一个
dynasty,
就是魅惑
the
当
last
时的皇帝的那
emperor,
个女的叫妲己，
the
她
last
被处
emperor
斩处
was
死的时候，
attracted to a woman called
那
Daji.
个人就不能回头一笑，挤兑要杀他的那个应该叫刽子手是吧？
对，
专门砍人头的。
In the end,
这
Daji
个女
was
人回头
sentenced
看一眼，
to
微微一笑，那
death,
是这个
and
刀刚刀
even
啪，他就扔到
on
地
the
上说，我真举不起来，
on the
啊
我举不了，我的
during
心
the
脏就
death
受不了。
penalty when
就这
Daji
人美到了这
smiled
个程度，
at
所以
the
外在的这
person
个美对人
who
其实也
was
是很
supposed
有
to
杀伤力与征服
kill
力
her.
真是。
That
换了女
person
国人
dropped
呐，
his knife
最后遇
when
上一个有
Daji
经验的
smiled,
蒙上眼睛
老爷子，
and
不是，
哦，
是把这个人这个头蒙了一块布一绑
5
砍，
different people
而且
weren't
最有经验的老爷
fell
子上
in
来
love
手
with
起刀
Daji
落
and
说我不要
wasn't
让我
able to
看他
kill
脸
her.
你先把他头给我
And
蒙上
in the end,
砍他，
um,
也就是美带给人的杀
the
伤力是这么大。
the law enforcer
影响力
has
是
to
这么
be
巨大。
blindfolded to
对
be
吧？
able to
那为
kill
什么这个
Daji.
王被他给诱惑
So
到乱
why why
乱做了很多事儿呢。
so Daji
所以外在的东
tempted
西还是很重要
the
的。
emperor
就
to
但
do
是
many
从这里
wrong
回到
things,
生活里头，
and
对
that's
吧？
why she
但你
needs
如
to
果
be
选了第一种男人，如
killed.
果选了第一种男人的好处是，
So
刚才我们说到
coming
第
back
三种有
to
钱，
today, we talked about
再
the
重新论
first
述第一种。
our choice, right?
养眼
What
啊
are
就
the
是看着很舒
benefits?
服啊，
They have
然后
attractive
可能
looks,
在
right?
别人面前也有面子，
And
我们中国人所说高富帅当中的高和帅，但就不富。
and
但是我们还
also
给
they
他设
doesn't
定
have
了一
any
个角色
money,
像打游戏一样，
but they
他到
are
老都不会富。
very tall
他
and
只有
very attractive.
哎，那
And
你
let's
们
say
能不能
that
过得
this
下去？
person doesn't have money even when he gets old.
你会不会
Would
让
you
你
be
很心
able
烦
to
因为他的
live
无能？
with this person? Would you
会
be
吧？
not
对，
be
你过
annoyed
日子的
because
时
he
候就
doesn't
是
have
马
any
桶
坏了
abilities?
都不会修，
That say that
是
this
吧？一坐
person
就
cannot
错，
even
让他
fix
煮
a
个饭把锅
toilet.
烧成圈儿了。
They
对灯泡
cannot
都不会
cook.
坏
对，
They cannot change
而且
light
也不会，
bulbs.
更不要说闯事业赚钱养
And
你，
they
不会，你
can't
还得养他吧？
they don't have a
所以在
career
别人
to
还追求
make a
他
living.
哎，对，所以他也没那么老实，因为外在这个美
And
还是
say
有
that
杀伤力
because
的，对不
of
对？
his
一出门
attractive
一
looks,
群老太太
other
盯着他看，
women
是吧？
are attracted
这
to
个
him
女的
too.
心里很烦，
How do you
真做
feel?
正事儿啥都不会做。
So
但是
this
对人的魅
person
惑力
cannot
不
do
够，
anything,
对
but
你们能不
he
能
just
活到
have
60岁？
very good looks. Can you live with this person until
不容易吧？
60 years old?
哎，
It would be difficult, right?
法语想说吗？
Fa Yu, do you have any
算了，
comments?
你肯定没这概念哈。
Never mind.
哎，所以当初选择的时候，打动你的东
万一
西到底是个啥？
What
所
made
以
you
我们
fall
这
in
样
love
讨
in
论
the
过之
first
后，让孩
place?
子们说我要选择帅
After
和美呢
our discussion today, some young people might ask, should I choose good looks?
要考虑哈。
Think about it.
生活啊不容易，
Life is
就
difficult.
算你爹妈留了一笔财富，
Even
就是
if
他们
you
打拼的血
inherit
汗钱给
some
你。
wealth from your
如果让一
parents,
个不会做事的，别说男人了哈，女人也一样，
it doesn't matter
知道
if it's
穿
man
着
or
打扮，
woman. If
再能
it's
弄点
someone
有
who
是生
only
非，
knows
有没有创造
how
力的话，
how
你一
to
生也
wear
不会
good
开心，
clothes and doesn't have any
并
creativity,
且不知道走到
then
哪一
you
年
might not have a good
也
life.
不容易走。
And it's very
艰难。
difficult to spend your
是，
lives
就是说，
together.
比如说那个就是帅的那一
Say
方，
that
美
for
的那一方
example,
没有钱，但是哎，这一
the
方有
person
钱，
who
那我找
is
一个帅的吧，
the
我有
partner
钱，
who
爸就
is
给我很多
attractive
钱，
doesn't have
所以
any
钱
money,
不是事儿，不
but
愁
the
啊。
other
就即使是这样，
partner
也
has
是
a
很
lot of
难
money.
啊。
就
Even
是
if
因为
that's
你
a
是个人，
situation, it's
你家里
difficult.
总会遇到生
You're
活
a
中、事业中
person.
的是是非非，对
You
不对？
will
对，
到最
always
后你
run
会喜欢什么
into
样
the
的人
ups
呢？
and downs
你
in
会转
life.
念去找能
What
做
type
事
of
的人。
person would you like?
你就说这个人的魅
If
力
you
哈，
change your
虽然他
perspective,
没
you
有这样一种
probably like
非常
someone
漂
who
亮的
have
外在哈，
strong
但是他的
abilities.
做事的
Although
魅
this
力
person doesn't
才是
have
最后最能
the
打
good
动人的。
looks, but
对，最后
现实
大家都会喜欢这
but
样的
his
人。
abilities will
所以
touch
的
your
话，
heart.
所以大家在一个是希望年轻人多学点知
So
识，
I hope that young
别只做
people
一个
will learn
花
a
瓶。
lot of knowledge.
那第二个，
Don't
在
just
选择
have
对象的
empty
时候呢，
looks.
也别
And
仅仅
when
光
you
看对
choose your
方
partner,
外表帅不帅这
don't
个
just
概
look
念，
at this
帅
person's
真的不能当
looks.
饭吃。
Looks doesn't
当然，除了你做的是
um,
演艺工作，是吧？
looks
做模
doesn't
特、
mean
做演
everything.
员，这个
Unless
靠
of
脸来
course
吃
if
饭
you
的，
are an
这个
actress or a
或许
model,
还行。
maybe
除
in that
此之
case
外，
attractiveness
靠
will
这个
mean a lot.
光靠脸吃
But
饭
Otherwise, in other
非常
industries,
的不靠谱。
it will be very difficult to make a living with
嗯，
just looks.
就是靠脸吃饭的，我们也有听说嘛，有的像电影明星这样
We've
子哈，
heard
也
of
是在他
people
事业好的
whose
时
line
候，
of work
那很多人
require
追求。当
um,
他事业不好
attractive
的时候，他
looks.
也长得好啊，就
嗯，
没什么人追求了。
Only
或者人家
even
也
in
都不离
such
他而
lines
去，
of work,
也是有这样子的，
people
还是看
only
能力。
likes
嗯，
um,
这个长相它不能够
likes
涵盖
people
所有
who
的东
have
西。
abilities too. So attractiveness doesn't mean everything.
所以你看刚才讲这个
So
外貌的这个，一个也会变啊。说
first
变
of
变
all,
变的，
looks
不那
will
么美
change,
了。
and maybe
嫁给
over
这个还
time
有很
that
多
look won't be
负
as
面的这
attractive
些
anymore.
因素会带
And
来，比如说
also
别人
there
的喜欢
will
呐，
be
或者等等。
negative
也有就
aspects
是
to
说，
it too.
你
For
光有这
example,
个没有
many
能
people
力，
will be
可能在
attracted
日
to that
后的
person.
生活之中，爱
And
情是很
say that
甜
in
美，
the
但是爱
future,
情到了婚姻和家庭之后，不
love
一定
is
能够
sweet, but when
一直会让你
it's
那么的那么
marriage
满
and
意哈。
family time,
然后讲
maybe
到第二种
you
人
won't
呢，
be
是这个
satisfied
有
then.
才能的。
The
才能
second
的刚
type
才我
of
们也
person we
分析
talked
了，
about are people
那
with
个
strong
中间他也
abilities.
会变呐，他心也会变呐。啊，
Even such
对，尤
people
其是年
with
轻的时
strong strong abilities, they might have a change of heart too. Especially when you are together when you're young. In the future, you wouldn't know what this person would be.
说不定还是潜力股也挣了钱，
And
但是也招人呐。然后他的
and
这个
even
成
these
功和外面的这个招
successful
人能力
people
也
with
是同比例增长
strong
啊，那我们怎么
abilities,
办？
they are
你能不
also
能承受？
attractive
能不
in
能有
their
那样的
ways
智
too.
慧能
And
挽回来它？这
then
不一
do
定啊。
you have the
那有
wisdom
钱的也
to
是这样子，那说有钱确实
to
是
keep
一
this
步登
person
天
in that
啊，先做
relationship?
老板娘，吃
对
穿用度、消费水
And
平
in the
啊，
third
见
type
识
of
提升，
person,
还可以往娘家还弄点钱。
although this person is
这
想
都
得
rich,
更远。
对呀
you don't need
这
to
个都
worry
挺
about your
好，
life,
抢点
and
小
you
进
might
步哈，
need
哎
you
这
might
个都
be
挺好。
um
但是呢，你很可能你要
be
你要
able
怎么说
to
宽容他的
have
财
a
大
lot
气
of
粗啊，
money,
宽容他的
but
那
you
些
need to
态
be
度
very
啊，
tolerant
然后
about
呢，
their
甚至于可能
attitudes.
还有更不好的一
And
些行为啊、品行啊
Maybe
等
you
等。
need to be tolerant
所
about
以说
their
到这儿的话，
their playboy behaviors.
就有一个问题，我们网友也有就这样问了，
Many
就说
people left some
好
people
像
left
听起来的话
messages
应该是
and they
品
are
行还
asking
挺
that
重要的。
it
但
sounds
从年
like
轻的时候，师傅
character
能不能教
and
给我们怎
virtue
么能
is
看到
important.
对方的
But
品
as a
行啊？
young person, how do we see their
一
true
个是能
character?
力，这个师傅讲了。首先我们
Master
自己
talked
就
about
有这种
abilities
一技
that
之
we
长，
need to
要
have
自放
our
身，
own
不能当
abilities.
花瓶啊。第二个的话，是不是这个？你说有钱
And
人怕他的
secondly,
那些东西，其实也是他的品行不够那么的好。有能力的人，他以后变心或者怎样，也是因为品
secondly,
行这
whether
个问题。
it's wealthy
那怎
people
么能够
who
看透啊？还
um
是怎么办呢？
who
这
plays
其实
around
本来就是
or
很难的
people with
题
strong
哈，
abilities
就是
and
如果
change
在我们
later
有
in
机会
time.
的情况
It's
下，
all
非
because
常
of
有
their
机会的情
characters,
况
right?
下，
嗯，
第一不盲目结婚，
First,
因为青
don't
年人
不盲
是
目结婚，
get
啊
married
不盲目结
blindly.
不盲目结婚。
嗯，
啊
Yes, don't
因为
get
有很
married
多人
blindly.
今天越是生活在这个大城市里头哈，反而觉得
When
人
we
因为
live
都活在
in
拥
this
挤的城市
urban
之中，
city,
城市越大越拥挤，
the
对不对？
larger the city
其实
is,
人和
the
人离
more
得很近，
crowded it
但
is.
有时候人和
And
人离得又很远。
it seems
那
that
很多人
we
找
are
对象又
crowded,
挺
that
难
we are
的，对不
together,
对？
but we're
所以
actually
当
more far
如果
apart.
今天一个姑娘已经到了27岁
Say
才
that
初恋
if
的时
a
候，你会不会发
if
生这
a
种事情？
person
对啊，
fall
急呀，
first
一
falls
定会
in
发
love
生了，
when
是吧？
she's
父母
27
现在
years
催
old,
婚啊，
对，
社会
would
人
you
的议论，
feel rushed?
一到了27岁和以后的时候，
After
当有一个
27
男人
years
如果
old,
长得不是
your
很
parents
差，
might be
给你
pursuing
献
you
着
to
殷
get
勤表示
married.
爱情的时候，
And
一般
when
不但
somebody
要恋爱，还是
pursues you
乐意慢慢悠悠
and
往下跟着走，
嗯，
就没有选择性，
and
因为你不敢选择，
and you might not want to
那
choose. You
错
might
就错在
not
这里。
feel
对，
that you
这个
have
就
a
是想
choice.
想问的就是说，那这个时候还是要选择，还是
So
就
at this
将
time,
就
should we choose
如
or should
果
we just
是
stay with
对
that
理
person?
性的话呢，
The
不
most
盲目的话，
rational
还是要
should
有
be
自己的追求，
to have your own
要选择。
pursuit.
要选择。
You
这
should
个时候叫
choose.
宁为玉碎不为瓦全。
At that time, you would
对，今天
rather
你真
have
要找一个
nothing
让
than
你
to
恶心一辈
have
子的人，
have
我觉
something
得
that's
你
broken.
肯定是大错特错。
If you
对吧？
fall, if you just
因为
fall
你根
for
本就
it
没有观察，
and
没有考验，
if
你
this
生
is a
怕
bad
自己嫁不出去
person,
了，所以
then
就
you
来
might
了
ruin
来
your
了
whole
就行了，
life.
就有点像真正的这个大灾难的时候，这个乞丐，对吧？
对，
不管什么吃的，只要能塞到嘴里，能
You
吞下
don't
去的我
want
都
to
吃了
be
它。
like a
如果是这种的饥不择食的这种
beggar in
法律
time
上的
of
行为的话，
disaster that you eat whatever
这个
comes
就
around.
比较麻烦，你也别
And
挑剔了。
It might
你也没
cause
有
you
钱
troubles.
嗯，
所以你该受的罪，你肯定要受。
还是
If
后
you
果自
didn't
负
make
对，因为这个责任你自己要担
this
负的。
嗯
choice,
对，所以
you
我
will
们现在
need
说的
to
理性
bear
哈
the
如果理
results
性，今天是一个
even
自由
if
恋
it's
爱
not
的时代，
happy.
对不对？
嗯
At
那
this
你尽量
time,
要有自己的选
you're
择。
free
你
to
就是找对象，你也使用一些
you're
方
free.
法
You can make
机会
choices.
是吧？
嗯
你可以
Even
到
when you're
异
trying
性
to
非常
find a
比较多的
relationship,
地方，但是
you
不要到太低
need
俗
to
的地
find
方。
opportunities for
人那个地
yourself.
方异性多，但是低俗，比如说吸毒啊、
But
破坏事
don't
比较
do
多，那你
don't
别去。
but don't go
因
to
为你
bad
找不到好的，
places, even though if
因
there
为
are
你
a
内卷
lot
那
of
个地方都是坏人，没有好
men.
人的。
If it's
那
all
个
the
坏人
people
会
who
找好
are
人比
drinking
分还
and
难，
doing drugs, then
对
it
不
will
对？
be very
你在
difficult
好
to
人里
find
找
a
坏
good
人
man
是
in
很
that
容易的。
crowd.
嗯，
因为很多坏 坏人冒充好人进来。
And many bad people will
所以
pretend
你要
that
去
they're
找
good
的
too.
你去选择这样的环境。
So first you
经常
need to
有这样
choose
的
the
环
right
境的交往，
environment.
是吧？一个聪明的姑娘也会想
A
方设法自己
smart
给打发。
woman
会有
will
计划
find
性的安排
ways,
啊
will
这是第一。
plan
那么
to
第二个的接触人的时候，
to get the
你是可
right
以
relationship.
恋爱并不代表是结婚嘛，
And
你是接
also,
触。
对，
我觉得真正
remember,
是不是真正
relationship
真
doesn't
真假假
mean
的恋爱的
marriage.
这个初级阶段的时候啊，你是一个应该是观察了解
At the
调查的
beginning
这个
of
时
your
间段
relationship, it should be
是吧？
a time for you to
应该
observe
这个
and
了
get
解的
to
过程，
know that person.
你要接触他，还要如果有必要走下去的时候，你还要去了解
Only
他的家
when
庭，
you feel
去
that
接近他的父母
there's
和家里的亲人。
there's
你到了他家，
the possibility
看
of a longer
里的
relationship, then you need
这
to
个用
get
的东
in.
西，那种
You need to get to know
陈
that
设
person's
啊，那
family
种摆放，那种
Go
感觉，那种语气，
and their
眼神
family home
都
through
代表这家
how
的修
they
养。
position their
我们先
items,
里头有没有
how
去
their
观察了他家的富有
their
呢？
home
也
is
含有这个成分。
decorated.
但对于
It all
我来说的话，
represents their
我要告诉
virtue,
孩子的东西，
not only
这
just
个
their
只是次
wealth,
要的一
but
部
their
分。
virtue.
我觉得人的一生，你的
Wealth
创造才是
is
最
the
精彩
second
的，
thing,
对，
因为
and
你自己有快乐的感觉。
creativity is the most
对不对？
important thing.
就你看别人跳舞，永远不知道跳舞人的快乐。
When you're looking
对，你
at
看
a
别人吃饭，
person
永
to
远不知道
dance,
自
you
己
never
吃的时候多
realize
美，
how
对不对？
beautiful, how
对，
happy it
所
is
以
to
自己有
dance
创造
yourself.
才会对
When
幸
you
福
look
好。
at other people
所以
eating, you
走
don't
进
know how that
这
food
个人
tastes.
家，了
So it's
解
always
他家人的
the
那
most
种感
important when
觉，
you have creativity
那种
yourself.
感觉是什么呢？
So when you visit this
是修养，
this partner's home, you will
对不对？
feel how
很多你
cultured
不
that
接触，
family
或者仅
is.
仅写一封信，这时候还有很多就不真实的东西。
If you don't
哎，
get to
你
know
看他
that
有没有修
family,
养，
if
很
just
简
through
单，看他
writings
父
and
母的言
words,
谈举止和打扮，
you will never know. And there could
就是
be
这样。
they could be faking it.
他们他
But
是不
when
是
you
斤
get
斤计
into
较？
that family,
看你接触
you
最
can
多
look
两
at
次
their
就看出
parents,
来，
how their parents dress and
对不对？
talk and behave,
他对你上下打扮的感觉，他的面部表情的变化，
and
立刻
also
你能察觉到。他在
look
打
at
量你、
their
审视你。
expressions, look at how they
那
look
你
at
要
you,
你一
how
定要
they
学会观察
judge
别人
you.
的时候，
You need
有
to
时候
learn
你
to
要顾问
observe.
破绽。
And
对不对？
also,
卖关子，
比如说你家里很有钱，
And
今天
also-
你提个破包去他家，
even
你
for
拿的礼物
example,
哈，
even when you have
不要
money
贵重，
yourself,
反而是
um,
最普通商
take
店
a
买了个最普通的
very
礼物，
plain and
其实和你的
ordinary
身份
bag
是
to
不搭的。
visit. And also
他父
don't
母
buy
亲的表情
expensive
态度
gift
什么样，
and just buy something very
对不对？
看对方的
plain
他知道你是个富家女
just
的
buy
时
a
候，他
plain
你应
gift
该穿的是
and look
珠光
how
宝气、
that
金光
person's
灿烂的那种
parents look at you
打扮的东
when
西。
you
你拿
came
的
to
礼
their
物一定是
family
贵
with
重的，
these things.
家里人还趁机想沾个光呢。他一看你全身这个打扮，
If
像个保姆一样。
you dress
你是这样的
nicely
礼物。
and give them the impression
表
that
情
you
什
are
么样？
wealthy, maybe they
你
want
就
to gain
卖个
something
破
from you.
绽就能
So-
观察对方嘛，
嗯，
对不对？你别说话那么
So
文雅，
Give
你也
it
帮他
an
稍稍突出一点，
opportunity
看对
to
方的反应，
observe
对不对？
them
观察嘛，
and
你都说真相的
show
话，
some
你得到都
flaws
是假象。
and see how
是吧？
they
那一般人
behave
见了皇帝的时候，大家知道他是皇帝，没
Usually
有不跪着的，
a
因为
person
抬头脑袋就
when
没了，
usually when a
对
person
不对？
goes
所
to
以
see
都
an
说的话
emperor,
呢都是软
they
话，
are very careful.
要不就
They
是奉承的话，
use very
都是这样
gentle
的。
words.
哎，所以如果对方知道你，比
So
如说
if
你是很有才华，
If that
很有财富，
family,
对吧？他的态度是不一样的。
if that family knows that
如果
you
比
have
如
a
说
lot
你
of
你家
money
里还
or
是不
that
错
you
的，那
have
你装的更穷一点，
a lot of
你装的职业更差一点，他对
knowledge,
你什么感觉？
their behavior
你
will
去他家的
change.
是我是律师，
But if you
哈佛毕业
pretend
的，
that you
那他妈
are
立刻就
poor,
变成女仆，
then their
就
attitude
是这
will
样
be
的。
different
就觉
from
得又不对，我
when
完
you
全变
are
成女仆，显得太
wealthy.
没尊严了，还
And
给我儿子
if
留点尊
you
严吧。
go to that
就说
family and
哦，
say that you
我
are
爱
a
他，
lawyer
这
graduated
样
from
反过来又弄
Harvard,
成双重角色，
see
因为他
how
是
they
坐
will
立不安，
behave.
生怕自己说错话，
是，
生怕被你瞧不起，对不对？
And
如果你是个大富家女呢，他们想立刻变成保姆来
so
伺候你。
if you have a
这
lot
孩
of
子，如果
money
你
and
和
you
我孩子结
show
婚的
it,
话，你生8个
that
孩子我全养，
that
我全抱着，我
that
天天给你做
family
饭洗衣服。
might behave
男方
timidly
的妈当场就会这么表示，
and
这
they
是一个
might
假象。但
but
是他
it might
说
be
的是个
fake
实话，
behaviors
因为你没
and
有
they
考
might
验他
want
的
to
人
marry
品，
their son to you.
对不对？
对，
但是如果你本来就没有钱，对吧？
But
稍有
if you
相貌，
don't
你的相
have
貌女方的
your
妈看不
if you don't have
对吧？
any
女人看女人
money
很难欣赏女人的，
and you just have
男
you're
人看
just
男人也一样。
an
男人
attractive
看男
woman, your future mother-in-law might not like you. it's very difficult for women to appreciate women's beauty, right? Maybe their son will appreciate your beauty. So usually, when women look at women's beauty, especially with this type of relationship, they will scan you like X-ray. And the senior, older person will say that you're too pretty. And if you are ugly, that person might say that, oh my God, well, my grandson might born ugly too. They might say that your eyes are too small and say all types of bad words, that you are too skinny, that you're too fat. Usually, mother-in-laws will pick on young future daughter-in-laws. And usually they wouldn't like anything about you. So you won't see the truth. So don't feel. So then when I visit them, should I change myself? Should I be pretentious? If you are outright truthful, you wouldn't be able to make the most truthful observations of their true behavior, right? Why do people invent lie detectors? Because people lie. And that's why some policemen, they will pretend to be drunk. And they will go undercover to see how you behave. And these police will go undercover to get tips from people. I remember I watched the video online. The story is a true story. A young woman had 2 children, and the young woman didn't have a job and was just staying home and taking care of the 2 children. But the husband despised her because she didn't work and didn't earn any money. The woman said that when we first fall in love, my husband loved me so much, and he is so sweet. But after I got pregnant and gave birth to 2 children, my husband started to scold me and then started to beat me up. So I sent one child to kindergarten, and the other child, my mom takes care of my child so that I can come out to find work. So the woman went for an interview, and there were a lot of people who are going for the interview because there was a set time, and there was an older woman who fell on the ground, and she stopped to take care of the old woman, while all the other interviewees went up for the interview. And she carried the old woman and carefully took care of her, carried her into the elevator and set her down on the 21st floor. And then there is a young woman who came around and asked what happened, and thanked her for taking care of the old woman. And so she left. And she left to continue to go to her interview. When she go line up for the interview has already finished. She was late.
他就给人解释啊。
She tried to explain what happened. Then she tried to help the elderly.
就是命令，几点
But
钟这闸门关了，
they
你
don't.
下次再联络吧。
They said that she's
联络
late
我们人
and
事
she
部，
can
反正我
only.
执行的命令，几点钟把闸门关上。
Maybe
能进的
there's
谁
a
都不能
next
进
time
入。
that she can come for an interview, but
哎呀，
this
她在那
time there's
哭啊。
no
哎呀，不
opportunity
走啊。
anymore.
那就
So
这公
she
司真的
just
我听说是
stayed
不错
there
的，
and
我就
cried.
想进来。
She know that it's a good
等
company
到
and
最
she
后
really
一个
wanted to
正是
work
她
there.
了，门一打开，那个一个年轻女经理说：“哎，怎么后头还有一个人呢？”
And then when she was
那
crying,
可
the
是
doors
经理
opened
那
again,
个
and
有个牌子嘛，写着经理啊。
and
你
the
这
manager
我这
came
刚
out
才
and
给人
asking
帮个
why
忙，结果我没进
is
得
she
去。你看，
crying.
保
She
安不让我
explained
进来，
what
能不能
happened
给我个
again
机
to
会
the
啊？那
manager,
你进来吧。
and the manager
他
asked
说
her
我
to
叫什么
come
名
in,
字啊？好了，可以
and
了，明天来上班。你还没
and
问
she
话，
told the
不用
manager
问
her
了。
name, and the manager
到第二
just
天
told
上
her
班
to
的时
come
候，
in and work
直
the
接到
next
了
day.
董事长的屋，
On
那
the
老太
next
太就是
day,
董事长。
对，
she
我吓
was
坏了。
greeted into the CEO's office, and then
好
she
像昨天
was
好像是你摔
surprised
倒了
that the
啊。
elder
那老太太
woman
说
she
是我
helped
呀。
is the
考
CEO.
题。
哎，你怎么坐在这儿呢？他说我就是董事长啊。
The
啊确实
elder
昨天我摔了一跤，
she fell
那
she
别
fell
人都没管
yesterday,
我，没理我，这
and
是你。
none of the other interviewees helped her.
高
She's
兴
the only
坏
one
了。
that helped her.
那我们就知道结果了哈。来做秘书，啊，一个好工作就
So
来了。
then she got a
所以
very
一个
good
善
job as
心
a
啊。
company.
对，
So
所
a
以有的
kind
时候你
heart.
看咱们说这个老太太，
对，
她其实是演了一出戏。
So this
就是
old
演了一出
lady,
戏。
the
她就
CEO,
挑一个好心
she
的人。
对，
just
这个董事长哈，
she
就是演了一
she
出戏，因为新来应聘的人不知道他是谁，
she acted
在外面光鲜
that
是
she
他儿
fell.
子，背后当家的是他。哎，完了之后大家不知道，穿的再朴素一点，头发弄得乱一点，一头白头发，
She didn't.
是
She
吧？谁理一个老
she
人？
dressed up
大家都
as
极力
an
应聘的。
in
那你也
as
不能
a
说上楼
ordinary
跑的没理他的人都是坏人吗？
old
不
lady.
是，这个时候
And
就是他的道德修
she
养，
pretended that she fell.
对吧？
So she's testing for these
那什么是
interviewees'
道德修
virtues.
养呢？
What are
根本不是
virtues?
礼节。
Virtues
是
are
善
not
良的内
etiquette. It's your
对。
kind heart.
所以，当你的身份显赫的时候，
When you
啊，
have
任何一种身份显赫，比如说爹妈
when
有
you
钱
have social
啊，
status,
名牌大学毕业，
or that if
今
you
天有一个
have
非常非常
wealthy
好听的一个
parents,
公司
if
在
you
打工，有高
graduated
级的
from
工作职员，对吧？
Ivy League
哎，
universities,
都
if
叫
you
做显
work
赫。
in a
当
top
然，你也分
company,
对方家庭是一种什么状态，都可能会引起对方
these
对你
are
重视。
all part of
重
social
视你这个
status.
人，
And
是因
because
为
of
你的
this
这些附
status,
加的条件
your partner's
刚才我讲的这
family
几个
might
条件，
value
而
you
得
even
到对
more,
方的尊崇。
and they might
尤其
respect
是
you
容易找
because of
到
that.
那个漏洞的点，就是这个男方的妈妈的脸上，
And so when you
有的从
visit
爸爸的脸上也能看出来。
your partner's
通常的男
family,
人是
you
稍
can
稍看法
probably
一些，
see
啊，
these
所以对方要
real
求没那么
reactions
高，
from the
不像女人
mother-in-law's
操心的
face
多。
and expressions,
像我们过海关
because
就怕跟
usually
医生有关系，
mother-in-laws are more
哎，
are
是
pickier.
吧？他拿你的身份证，差点给你碾碎了揭开看，生怕哪个是假的。
When we go
啊，
through
就是
customs,
对，吹毛求疵的一种行为。那一
usually
般男的大概问一下啊啊，一挥手就过去了，
usually
就是这样。他女人的关是难过的，
female
丈母娘的
officers
关难
are
过。
more detailed
对，
than
所以
male
他们的这
officers.
些表情表现的时候，
So when you
能
go to
能够
visit the
观察到。
in-laws, just
啊，无论
when
是
you go
女方家
visit
的
your
还是男
future
方家的
in-laws,
这个女
just
家长，
look at
通常
the
她的表情
future
没有那么高的
mother-in-law's
定力，装都
expressions.
不会装，
Usually they can't
一眼
hold
就看出来。
themselves, and you can
对，
see
甚至
these
连家里的装饰
their
物
true
都能看出来这个人的
expressions.
道德修养到
And
哪里。
also from their family's
没有到那个
decorations,
境
you
界
can
装
see
都
how
不
cultured they are.
所以师傅提醒网友的就是说，通过
So
观察
Master
啊
is
来去
reminding
看
everyone
对方的这
to
个品性，包
to
括他家庭
observe
的
their
这个
true
对，
characters
道
and
德品性。
virtues.
嗯，
嗯，
那我讲到这儿的，这就是有个重大的一个原因。
And there is a
因
very
为
important reason why I talk
刚才
about
讲的都
this.
是外在的，
Because we
现在
talked a
他
lot
很
of
帅
um,
啊，现
external
在他很有
characters,
钱，
that
现在
they
他很
are
有
they
能
have
力，
good
有
looks
有
now,
所擅长，
they
对不对？
have
是
strong
啊，什么都会，
abilities now,
大家都
they
会
have
佩服，对
money
不对？
now.
比如在大学之中，一个男的能歌善舞，
Say that if
有
it's
组织
a
能力，
person
长得又帅
can
气，
dance,
学
can
习是第
sing,
一，
they're handsome,
所
and
有
they're
的女
very
生觉
good
得他
in
就是我的明星，对不对？
academics,
除了
every
那几
lady
个
will
睁
like
眼
her,
睛出来
right?
是他就是我比较 现实的明星，对吧？
It's like a real star.
这可以代表他未来可能有一定的成就。
does it
但是并不代
represent
表
that
其他
one
的善
day
良。那么善不善良就是
this person
当
will
你
be
变老了，当你有一天
successful,
腿瘸了，
but it
还
doesn't
爱你。
mean that this person will be kind.
当你
Say
没有
that
没有
one
外
day
在的
if
这
you
些好处
are
和美丽之外，你又
are
是什么？
crippled, will
你
he
可
be
能随时被
kind?
丧失。
If you don't have your
那我
beauties
讲一个
anymore, will he
中国大贵人的
let you
孩子，
go?
这个
Let
人
me
我
tell
认
you
识，
about
是我
the
们国内的非常高级的一个
let me tell
官员，
you
在
about
中
the
央的。
story of someone. So
哎，那么
um,
他的女儿呢，
this
就嫁了
high-ranking
这样一
government
个
official's
中国最
daughter,
名牌大学的学生会会长。
she
就是我
married
说的那样的。
someone.
我们在学校
She
里所说的
married
东西没有他不会的。比如说体育打球，几乎是最棒的。
She married
跑步
the
跑得
student
最快的。
president of
唱
one of
歌
the
是最好
best
听的，长得是
Chinese
最帅的。
universities.
读书成
And
绩总
he
有一两
can
门在全
he's
校拿是第一。
he's
那所有的女
athletic,
生就看了，这
he
就是我
has
的
good
男神，
academic
就是这样。
grades, and
哎，他俩就结婚了。但是这个
so
女生长得确实不是女神，就是
so
女人而
they
已，
got married
就是
later
长
on.
相普通。
The
但是他
late
爸
the
爸非
woman
常啊，
didn't have
是超级
very
的高官。
attractive looks, but his
爸爸
father was a
因为
high
哎呀，
government
反正在官场上
official,
也不容易混。有一年一个波动，
and
爸爸的那个最高的职务换了，换成低的职务了。
and one year
那一个月，
his father
这个女士哈，
lost
这个年轻的
his
女人，就是
office,
从公主
and
变成女仆。
in that year
这
that
个男的从那
woman
个时候像
her
珍宝一样
status
爱她。
changed from
这他爸爸这个
being
职
a
务的变化，
princess
这一个
to
月
a
迅
servant.
速的变脸，
So in that month
从贬低
when
他，讽
her
刺的到反
father her father's
他就
office
不理解，
changed, her husband
跪在地上哭，说
treats
丈夫，
her
你
badly
那么
now,
爱我，
and she just doesn't
啊，我们经
understand
历了多少
why
大
do
学的这
you
些故
love
事
me so
啊，
much,
那
and
么
we
爱我，
have been
多
through
少比
a
我更
lot.
漂亮的女生追求你，
There
你
were
都不爱她，你就是爱
more
我，
attractive
是
women
吧？
who
我
pursued
我
you,
们俩
but
就是注定的天生的一对。
you
你现在
pursued
到底
me.
是中什么
We
邪了？
are
这个男生最后
we
说
are a
也
good
不多解
pair.
释了，最后
What
让他
happened?
死了心算了。我告诉
And
你
the
啊，
man didn't. The man
我
just
娶的
said
并不
that
是你，
I
对
didn't
方就
marry
愣了啊，
you.
你娶的不是
She
我
was
吗？
stunned. You didn't marry
我娶
me?
的是你爸爸，
He said that I married your
我娶的是
father.
你爸爸手中的权利，
I married your father's powers.
因为这个权利，才让我们出了国，
Because
才让我们在
of
这儿
that
有资金
power,
去创业，
we were able
才
to
让我回国之
immigrate.
后非常光
We
彩。
are
那
able
些
to
官员
start
见了我都
a
低头哈腰，
business,
我好做事。
and
今天你爸
people
爸
will
不做那
treat
么高
me
官了，我
respectfully.
干嘛还爱你呢？
If your father is now the high-ranking government
就
official
说他
now,
你
why
长得
would
这
I
么
love
丑那
you
么丑，
now?
就说了一堆，
You are
你给我跳
unattractive.
楼算
You
了，
are
真
this.
的喝药好几
You are
次，
bad
割腕
this
好
way.
几
You
次，
are bad that way, and
就
that
这样。
and that woman
男子也
tried
行
to commit
所
suicide
以说，我
many
们现在说
times.
这种人是第二种人，
So
但是不
this
一定
man
第二
is
种
a
人都是
second
这样
type
的
of
人。
man. Although not all
有
people
能力如果
who
没道
are of
德，
the second type are like
他的
this.
伤害是更大。
When this person has
没能
only
力
has
也伤害，
abilities
也不
but
一
no
定是。
virtues, then they will harm you a lot.
所以这三种人里头，那谁可靠呢？
So in these three types of person,
不
then
管这
what's the
三种人
most
是
suitable?
谁，如果他有那份真正的
It doesn't
德
matter
行，德行就是
which
善
type
良，
it is. Only
这个
if
人
this person
就应
has
该是你选择的那
kind
个。
virtues, then that person
因为有
should
这
be
份
your
善良，
choice.
所以
Because of that
我
kindness,
不乐意背叛，我
he
舍不
don't
得放
want
开
to
你，
be disloyal.
这一个
He
舍不
will
得，
not
什么
let you
都
go.
都可以了，就是能
And
保佑你
because
们的
of
婚
that
姻、爱
cherishment,
情、家庭
it
幸
will
福。
save your marriage, your family,
有
your
很多人就是
business.
有啥舍不得的？就像我们
Many
刚才
people
讲的，
say
你
that
帅，帅我就抢你。
there's
有
nothing
钱
that
抢我就
we
抢你。
cherish.
你看多少抢钱的、骗钱的，骗死你活该。
对
Many people
对吧？
rob
那
others
在做金融业的，
and
那几
deceive
乎就
others.
像绑架你了呀，对吧？那
In
哪有什么
financial
道德修
business,
养、善良？
a lot of people doesn't
你
have
根
that
本就没有这
kindness.
样的，他把你那个骨头都炖了汤。
They just want to take
对，因为他
everything
没有那
away
份德
from
行。
you because they don't have that virtue.
所以当我们的人生稍有变化的时候，
When
还有他的自
our
己的身
life
份稍有变化
changes,
的时候，
when their
就完全变了。
status changes, that person
所
might
以
change
要用方
completely.
法啊，增加自己对他和他家庭
So
背
we
景
need to
的
use
这种了解。我
ways
们就怕的
to
是说，因
better
为人
know
在一
this
起，
person
年
and
轻
this
恋爱嘛，啊，
person's
总是把
family.
最美好的献
When
给
you are
你，但是
young,
真相你是不了解的，对不对？
对
you might
但
not
这
be
个时
able
候
to
还
see
怕
the
一种现
truth.
象，说我知
at that time, what we are afraid is that you know that this is a bad
这是一
person,
种
but
欠缺智慧的问题。
you don't have the wisdom
所以我们
to
看到那
let
个
go
佛
of
教的
that
文殊
person.
菩萨，说一个女菩萨还拿把宝剑，就拿把凶器，
Remember
是啥意
we
思呢？
look at Manjusri
就是
Bodhisattva.
其实当知
The
得之不
Bodhisattva
知道，谁都
shows
会有
up
执
in
着
a
说该不该
woman's
你都爱了，对不对？这是执。
physique, and
但是
she holds
最大
a
的智慧
sword,
是
right?
当舍则舍，
When you need to cut
你
off,
舍不
you
得，
need to cut off.
那就不是智慧。
If you
就是
don't
当舍
cut
则
off
舍，
when you
当
need
放
to,
则
then you
放，
don't have wisdom.
那
When it's
才是
time
智
to
慧。
let go,
这
you
种
need
智
to
慧
let go.
含着大量的勇敢。
This type of wisdom contains a lot of
那在这
courage.
个爱情中，这些智慧的这些，
So
那可能真是
in
要说来话长了
relationship,
哈。
we need
我
a
们
lot
网
of
友还
wisdom.
是要
I think
在
we
跟
need to
师傅
talk
来慢
about
慢
that
听着
more.
慢慢的学习。
Maybe
那这个爱情，说到这个爱情
we
本
can
身
talk
的话
about it later.
从古到今，古今
But
中外
coming
还
back
是
to
非常的
love,
甜蜜，还是很
most of
美的。
most of the time, love
就
is
像我，就
beautiful
虽然说经历
and
了怎
it's
样这个
sweet, right?
这个本
Although
来
I
有
have
想过说这
experienced
个
my
白头
ups
偕
and
老，但是
downs,
想想当年一起白
and
手创业的时候，
when I
一
think
起的
back
那些的爱
to
情，就现在回忆起
how
来
we
仍
were,
然是挺甜蜜的。
it's still sweet for me.
对，就像你看我们网友说，哎，这看到一个
It's
对大
like
河马呀，那个是大河马吗？在那儿真的
Is
是
is that
哇，含情脉脉
hippos
哎
on the top? They're looking at each
很
other
美哎
lovingly. That's very sweet. They're smiling.
爱情这个过程哈，我
The
不否认
process
哈，爱情它还是幸福甜蜜的。
The
啊
process
你这个
of
一直哪
love
怕结了
is
婚过日
sweet.
子，到老了还是很幸福
Even
甜蜜
when you are
这个
in a
是
marriage,
啊，
when you
我们
walk
没什么
down
好
the
争议，
path
这是
together,
必然的。
it's happy.
我们现在
There's
说的是
happiness
选
in
择
it.
你在选
We're
择的时候
talking
如果
about
选
choice
错了的
now.
话，就恐怕
When you make the
对吧
wrong
也有
choice,
幸福，但是
maybe
有
there
时候
are
选错了人呢，
happiness,
关键时候带给你的打击
but
是巨大
sometimes
是，
是剧痛的
嗯，
啊。所以
there
我们
will be a
想说
lot of pain as well.
到时候年轻的网友朋友们能够少走一些弯
So
路
I'm
啊
just hoping
能
that
够
young
比较
friends
捷径的，要有自己的
can take a
智慧
shortcut,
啊，理
can
智
have
选择适当的人选，
wisdom to choose the
还
right
用自己的
person,
智慧把自己嫁
and
出
also to use your
这些
wisdom
都
to
是
get
需要
yourself
一些
married.
这个智商的，甚至需要一些经验的东
You
西。
need a lot
来
of
进行
wisdom
分享
and
给年轻人。
experience,
真的需要。
and that's
对
why I'm
真的
sharing
需
this
要。
with you
对
today.
所以爱情是甜美的，
So love
爱
is
情是
sweet,
甜美的。哎，爱情的这个过程之中，它那个幸福甜美也甚至
And
是说，有时叫不知所以然呢。
in the relationship, sometimes this happiness comes from
是吧？什么样的都有
nowhere.
啊。
对，
那个
There are a lot of poems and
对，我记得那个
songs
王
that
菲唱那
that
首
sings
歌，
about
歌
it.
名叫《我愿意》，
There's a song sung by
那个写的
Fei
就
Wang,
就是爱
and
情的
the song
一
is
种
called
心情
I'm
的表
Willing
达
for You. And this
我
song
试试唱两句哈
expresses
我拿个麦克风哈
a。sensation of love. Let me sing it to you.
进入王菲角色，
I am now Fei Wang.
思念是一种很玄的东西，
Missing you is so
如
mysterious
影随
that it
形
occupies my heart imperceptibly.
无声又无息，出没在
It is
心
something
底
unknown that haunts me
在
every
眼
night.
吞没我
It
在
swallows
寂
me and
寞
makes
里
me feel
我
so
无力
lonely.
抗击，特
I
别
can't take
是
it long
夜
for
里
you late at night. I think of you.
想你到无法
I miss you so much that I
呼吸
cannot breathe.
恨不能立即
I wanna
朝
run
你
to
狂
you
奔去，
and tell you
大声地
how much
告诉你
I love you.
愿意为你
For
我
you,
愿意为
I
你
would do anything for
我
you.
愿意为你忘记我姓
Anything for you.
就算对
I'm ready to even forget my name
停
just
留
to
在
stay in your
你
arms even for
怀
1 second.
失去世界
I don't
也
care
不
even if I lose
惜
everything.
愿意为你
For
我
you,
愿意
I would do
为
anything for
你
you.
我愿
Do
意
anything for
为
you.
你
I'm
被
ready to
放逐天
Forget
际
even my name and to
只要
be
你
in exile.
珍惜那
as long
一
as you
我
love me with the
会
same
记
sincerity. I'm willing to do anything for you. Do anything for you.
为你。好，谢谢。好。那预知后事如何呢？我们
So
下
if
次
you want to do,
再
if
来
you
听
want
我
to
的
know
直播
more,
好吧？
we'll talk about it in our
我们网
next
友
live
如果各
session.
种的选择爱情方面的问题
If you
哈
have any questions about choices
然后
in
的话也请求
relationships,
师傅
please
来给
leave
大家
a
更多的
comment
智慧
and
更好的选择。
对，爱情
Master
是一
will
个
talk
很
about
难书
these.
写的一个词汇哈。
Love is
人生
very
当中
difficult
有
to
无数的
describe.
甜蜜，
There
有
are
数不清的
many
幸福，
sweetness, many happiness.
有无数的争吵，
There are many
还有很
quarrels
多对心酸的泪。
and many tears.
就算是这样经历了，如果能得到一个幸福
Even
的
if
家
you
庭，
have experienced
其实
all
都
that
是非常
and
不容
you
易的。
can have a
甚至有的
happy
人
family,
能够度
it's
过
very
九死一生
difficult.
啊。哎，所以早晨我们上课之前，
In the
我看
morning
我们的
before
网友
our
留言
session
哈，
today, when I
都已
look
经
at
总
your
结的都
comments,
是非常的非常的到位啊。
many people have
是
made a
那个
lot
怎
of
么说的来着？点人还记得吗？那个
good comments.
啊，
What did this
就
person
是
say?
好，我觉得好写的很好啊。我想到我要说的话，我忘了那句话了。
I forgot what they said in the comment.
那我们下次下一场的直播呢
Our next
是
live
杂
session
货铺的第
will
三场，
be
第三场杂货铺哈，
my
就是接
Treasure
下来的
Cove.
周日，
That will
亚
be
洲
part
时间
3.
11月
So
1日，
in Asia, that
上午
will be
10点钟，
November 1st
北美的时间呢
at
是
10
11月
a.m.
31日
and
周六。
October
晚上7点钟。
31st in North America, and that's 7 p.m. Pacific time.
7点，就大约吧，大约是这个时间，
正好那个时候要换时间，就是
也正好他们要换那个
对对，
时间
要，注意一下时间。
就所谓冬令时、夏令
哎，对
时那个，
对对，
哦，又到了这个换时这个时间了哈。
Yeah.
那个时候
So
大家都盯，最好是细致盯着我们直播的这2个频道。
So daylight
一
saving
个是
time
Facebook
is
一个
will
一个
be
是
happening
YouTube
in North America.
那么
So
还有
be
呢，
very
有
careful
朋
about
友
the time
还没有在
and stay
YouTube 上
tuned
哈，
to
没有订阅
my
欢迎你来
YouTube
订阅。
announcements.
如
If
果
you
你
have
喜
not
欢的话呢，
subscribed to
也
my
欢迎
YouTube
你分
channel,
享哈。
remember to
那
subscribe.
我们
If you like
像
my
这个爱情这个
live
选择
feeds,
话
please
题呢，
share it.
应该是到了下一个
周四，
So
一周以后。
the next time that
对
we
一
talk
周以
about
后啊。
choices will
那我
be
们接下来的直
a
播
week from today.
是
So
周
our
日
next
就
live
11
session
号
will
这
be
一场
on
在
Sunday
杂货铺哈。
in
好，
Asia
欢迎大家
and
继续来
Saturday
收
in
看
North
啊。
America.
好，谢谢大家，祝大家吉祥如意，
Thank you, everyone.
长命百岁。
May you be auspicious.
朋友，
May you
再见
live
了。
a long time. See you next time.
Beware, 追生命的真理，修行的理。